Hey everybody, welcome to Dr. B Q&A. We're going to be talking about childhood sleep issues, so stay tuned. So some of you may have seen my daughter's video recently about children's sleep schedules and sleep plans. And the reason being, and the reason I'm focusing on this, is I've had quite a few questions about children's sleep schedules and things that happen during sleep and what to do about it. And I feel like this video needed to be split into two. One being how to get your children to sleep and the before bed, pre-bed routine, and a second video that was specifically about nightmares and night terrors. Those are kind of two different things, though they go together. They're handled a little differently in two different things. So this one is more about the bedtime routine and the reason for sleep anxiety or insomnia in children. And it's very similar to adults. When children are experiencing stress or change or fear of change, then they're a little more anxious at bedtime. And they become, just like adults, we tend to sit there and think or try to distract ourselves by reading or doing other things. At bedtime, at night, when things are quiet, we're not distracted, we're not busy doing things, that is when anxiety tends to heighten. And it's the same for children. They start to worry about the things that they have to do for school. They start to worry about the things that they're experiencing in their lives that are causing them stress, which then makes the going to bed routine uncomfortable. So the number one thing to do is to talk to your child first. Sit down with them and discuss a plan. If they are having a hard time falling asleep or they're starting to avoid the sleep time routine, there's probably something going on that they need to talk about, or maybe they're sensing some stress in the family. So maybe you can present some suggestions, or at least just sit down and talk with them and make sure they're doing okay. Make sure there's not something going on in their life that you're unaware of. Children of preschool age need between 12 to 13 hours of sleep a night. Children in the elementary school age need between 10 and 12 hours of sleep a night. And that continues on through the high school years. Teenagers need between 8 and 12, I would say 10 and 12 really is what the studies show, of sleep a night. And that really helps curb a lot of emotional and physical disorders and things that might come about. So that being said, first talk to them, sit down with them, and then once you're kind of aware of what's going on with them, talk to them about what would be a more comfortable bedtime routine. And I would say the bedtime routine really needs to start about an hour to 2 hours prior to bedtime. Things need to be slowing down. And this can be really difficult. If you're up late doing homework with your child, if you're trying to plan things for the next day, nighttime can be really, really stressful. So I would say, and emotionally charged if homework is involved, right? So I would say once homework is done, once homework is completed, this really needs to be the time where everybody's aware that bedtime is beginning. The bedtime routine is beginning. So whatever that means to you, talk to your child. If they need to take a bath, if they need to read a book, do some activities that start to slow the mind and slow the body down and prepare it for sleep. Now, if children have been suffering from insomnia for quite a while, a few months, whatever, then it might be a good idea to think about shifting the room around. Studies show that when we're trying to change behavior and change emotional behavior, then we should really change our environment first. So if you need to move some furniture around, paint a wall, do something to change their environment beforehand, this can really help the new process of bedtime routines. And so change up the room and then begin the new routine after that's done. So once you have a nighttime plan, then I would also suggest having a point in the night before the child is going to sleep where you two have 10 to 15 minutes of talk time, where you can just really connect with them. Another suggestion is to start a nighttime journal. So they can journal things that have bothered them or happy things that have gone on in the day. But one of the really great things about the journal is you can tell them as they're writing to get those feelings out and pretend like they're negative emotions, and you can word this however you want to for your child, but their negative emotions are coming down and out their arm and through their pen onto the paper. They're getting out of the body. And once those negative emotions are on the paper, they can crumple up the paper and throw it away before bed. That's been really helpful with a lot of the young clients that I've had. is to do that nighttime journal and get some of that negativity out before bedtime. Once that's done and they lay down and they begin the quiet time routine, do an activity like reading, something, make sure all the lights are down. Studies show that you get 1 hit of dopamine from your brain a night. So once the light has been down for 10 to 15 minutes is what I read, the brain releases the dopamine. But if you get up after that time, if you've been in darkness and you've released dopamine and then you get up and go to the bathroom, you get up and get a drink, you get up and come out and start talking to people, you do not get that dopamine release again in another 24, it takes another 24 hours before your brain will release dopamine again. So don't turn off the lights and get quiet until everything is really done and you're ready for sleep. Then lower the lights. Your brain will release dopamine, your child's brain will release dopamine, and they'll be ready for bed. I think one of the most important things with the bedtime routine for children is when they're alone and the parent has left the room and gone into their room for sleep. The child can feel afraid, lonely, or like they're having to deal with their anxiety on their own. So I think it's really important that you connect with them emotionally, even if it's just for 5 minutes. This does not need to take up your entire night. But connect with them emotionally so that they know that they're not alone, and whatever it is that they're going through, you will be there with them through that. And that it's about putting those worries to sleep as well, so that they can get their body to rest and their mind to rest, so that their body and mind can continue to grow and heal. So we have to put our worries to sleep so that we can sleep. And at that time, we can then incorporate some of these other tools. So just please be sure to connect with your child and make sure there's nothing more going on. So once this has been done and you've established that part of the bedtime routine, the last suggestion that I have for you is a mindfulness or a meditation exercise. This has been shown to really help children be able to calm, and adults actually. This would work for you as well. And I'm going to I think I attached the one my children use under the video that my daughter just did, but I'll go ahead and attach it under here too. If you download a mindfulness activity or a meditation that is meant for sleep with children, it calms anxiety, it calms their body, it calms their mind. And as they learn to follow the meditation, then they're able to calm themselves on their own after time. It becomes much easier to go to sleep at that point. So I would highly recommend doing a meditation or beginning that process now as well. And again, I said I'll attach that here, and you might want to try it as adults. And children tend to take on what they see their parents doing. So if they're feeling high anxiety, really take a minute and check in with yourself and see if that's something that you're experiencing. Maybe they're feeling your anxiety. They tend to feed off of our emotions. So what are you projecting? What's going on in your life that might be causing them stress as well? That's something to take into consideration. Anyway, I hope this is a helpful video, and if you have any other questions, please let me know. Go ahead and comment below, and as always, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, please, and let me know how else I can answer any of your questions. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.